plan was to originally run DM ads because that's our bread and butter. We're really good at DMs, but because of the IG bullshit that's happening, that's not really an option. So it's either VSL or webinar. I'd love to get your take on what you think is better and, what should be the focus.
Really comes down to the strengths and the weaknesses of the sales team. That's honestly what exclusively makes the decision. It shouldn't even come down to a preference on your end of what you might want to bias towards. That's a part of the decision for sure. But let me be clear on what you're technically dealing with right now. Your salespeople are getting layup deals all the time. They're exclusively getting layups. They're getting people who consume an unknown amount of content over an unknown amount of time, and they're coming through already sold with likely a handful of questions. That's why you can do something like in your YouTube description, as simple as just a scheduler with no VSL, no application, no conditional logic, just a straight up scheduler. In the DMs specifically, I would imagine that your setters are also leveraging the content that's either on your Instagram page and or on your YouTube channel for follow-up to also help get people to the point where they're ready to close, which again infers that there's content being consumed prior to the conversion. When there's content being consumed prior to the conversion, and you look at specifically what that does to the sales team's mindset, it softens them up, is the simplest way to put it. They're, to a degree, cashiers that just answer a handful of questions at the time of sale, and that's it. And then from there, they get somebody closed. Now, when you look at a paid advertising process in comparison, I've originated over the years several different what we call content advertising strategies, which can help replicate the organic sales process via paid ads, but it also adds a tremendous amount of friction, give or take which specific strategy you do. As an example of this, the very first ever content ad strategy I came out with over a decade now ago, it's called the Venus Flytrap. And there's a sequence of 3 different videos that somebody would consume to a particular threshold, at which point we would push them over to the direct response ads. That would generate a cost per call that's comparable to a webinar, and it would generate a lead that's comparable to somebody that had come through a webinar as well. Because again, content was consumed prior to the close. You could argue that a webinar could also be more efficient in the sense that it can generate a lower cost per call and a higher total call volume by also shortening down the sales cycle at the same time and increasing the amount of people that go from direct response to the point of a call. The webinars are very popular right now for a very simple reason. Most sales organizations currently in businesses are built to close layup deals and not built to handle the education process. So if you can equip your sales team to handle education calls and that transition to a closing call, then you can make the decision confidently to run a VSL call funnel on paid advertising. If not, and you think about it from the perspective of, well, from a B2B lead perspective, just drop all the rhetoric of like B2B, B2C. It's always just people. 100% of the time, it's just human beings that are being presented information to make a decision. You're not wrong in the sense that when you're selling to rich people, they technically prefer funnel types that are more efficient for them. But this is also important to consider. It depends on their education level and their awareness level. That's what really makes the decision as well. So if you're dealing with leads that are financially qualified, but they're still not educated, they have to go through a content mechanism to get to the point where they're sold on what you're trying to push to them. If they are already sold and you've got a great in-demand offer, that can also cut through the noise of having to get your salespeople to be great and truly master education calls. If your offer is stronger than your salespeople, you can run with a VSL call funnel